There seems to be two strong chains of thought: the control heavy sides or the aggressive heavy sides. And they're just going head to head.
Okay, well, it is going to be control versus aggro yet again. It's going to be this very aggressive shaman deck that we've seen time and time again against the Dragon Priest of RDU here. Now, the last time we saw these exact two decks match up against each other, Zele pulled some miracle victory. Will it happen again? I don't know.
Well, a couple things happened. The first is Zele saw his hand. He saw Elemental Destruction, Rock Biter, Doom Hammer, Flame Juggler, and I think he drew like a Lightning Bolt or something like that. He also had like a Wolf Rider, so it was like, okay, well, this hand's not exactly great against a turn 1 Northshire Cleric. I could try to fight on board and ultimately let him draw cards and potentially snowball his game. Or I can try this completely from left field strategy of not playing anything and end up working. And a lot of people are, even us, can't really blame Life Coach for any of the decisions he made. In fact, it looked like he read it. So
yeah, it looks like he was playing perfectly. Yeah. Okay, well, there's the Harrison. An early Harrison
cards. It also makes cards like even Abusive Sergeant itself much better. And, one of those things you have to think about is, sure, you have Harrison, but if Shaman ever draws it and it's more board-centric with how it does its damage, then it might not matter if you have Harrison Jones. We've seen some people be in situations where they can't play Harrison in anticipation for the Doomhammer, and the Doomhammer doesn't come.
Okay. Looks like the Farseer will not crush the early game this time, but the Twilight Whelp is going to see some play here with the Azure Drake draw, as it can now activate its battle cry.
Yeah, that's not too bad. It still has the biggest minion on board by a fair margin, so it's good. I don't think your opponent would you like Lava Burst something like this to get the 3 damage in, maybe to preserve the board because your hand's not that great. Savjz's life taps here. Not bad. 1 drop.
Looks like he's going to go with a Lightning Bolt here.
Lightning Bolt to preserve 1 damage.
Well, no, it's going to preserve the 2 damage. I think that's a reasonable play. I mean, he did coin it out. We do know that the G2 arsenal contains 6 Earthen Ring Farseers, so I mean every minion you don't kill is a minion that's going to punish your loose play.
It's a fair point. And the Farseers, of course, can double as healing to put yourself out of burn range, which is pretty huge. Savjz is going toe-to-toe with control. He's actually even using his Rock Biters to get past this. Really convinced that he has to control the board here, and he's going to sit on things like Elemental Destruction, which seem to be one of the interesting cards to how the Dragon Priests interact with everything else, because their minions are high health, but Elemental Destruction can sometimes reach it.
Worm Rest Agent yet again. These minions with like no attack values and a ton of HP are giving the Priest such a huge health buffer.
Okay. Feral Spirit's pretty decent. Even potentially hitting into this Worm Rest Agent. What do you think about
that? He's doing this in order to play around Holy Nova. If he'd have a Holy Nova, it would trade with the board now.
Azure Drake would make Holy Nova better if it picks it up. It does also give up your last dragon, but you're not drawing because you're going to be playing Cabal Shadow Priest next turn most likely.
Right. I'm pretty happy with the Azure Drake play. I don't think he can really do much better than that.
Yeah. Well, Tunnel Trog can start benefiting off of some of that overload, but we'll see how far these things can go, because they're still far away from threatening lethal, and Savjz still looking for that Doomhammer, but I don't know if he actually really wants that Doomhammer if he knew what his opponent was holding.
Let me change your mind.
Yeah, I mean, right now it feels like the Priest is gonna struggle to maintain enough cards. So the only way that changes is if the Doomhammer hits the board. Okay, Lightning Bolt and Argents. Yeah, if you use like Lightning Bolt and Life Tap, you're gonna overload for 3. Ooh. And then, would you consider trading? Oh man, it's pretty rough here.
Probably just face. It's a lot of damage to miss.
It's so much damage to miss.
And I don't think you're in a position where it's like, oh, he's trading.
He's trading the Lightning Bolt. Okay.
Man, Savjz real. He's playing Control Shaman. I don't really get. That's pretty much what it is. It just happens to have fast cards.
Wrecked.
Whoa. The ultimate punish. Holy smite. Feels real bad, man.
I think it's good enough to play the North Shard here. The Shaman can't really deal with even one attack minions very well, so.
I just feel bad for Savjz. He's invested so much into the board, and every couple turns, the board's clear and Priest is at full health. And now he's investing more of his mana into drawing a ton of cards. There he finally finds a Doomhammer, but that's also going to get destroyed.
Oh, that's a little bit too quick. Elemental Distraction is going to crush the Priest again.
Yeah, but the Priest can just draw cards. Like, part of the reason why Life Coach struggled as much as he did in that state was he didn't have any cards outside of, like, Nefarian at that moment, right? So I think if Savjz ends up playing, like, that Doomhammer soon, could be in trouble. Although, one thing to consider is that because he's overloaded, he's like unable to play the Doomhammer immediately. So in some ways, it's like a blessing in disguise, that overload.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the Totem Golem was meaningful there. He's overloaded for 5, right? Oh no, he's overloaded for 7. He could have overloaded himself for 8, and then Flame Shock or Lava Shock would have been 2 mana exactly.
Yeah, he still can Lava Shock. He still can flame. God dang it, Grip.
I'm sorry.
He still can Lava Shock. Strong favorite against Priest is Dragon Priest. Is that Dragon Priest like can't really finish the game, and Aggro Shaman still has plenty of time to draw into what should be game-ending burst. But that one X factor is that Harrison Jones, and that's if and only if you'll ever see the Doomhammer come out here. I mean, Savjz could be going next level and just avoiding the Doomhammer plays until he has like double Rock Fighter to go for 16 damage.
Get in there and fight, maggot.
All right. Well, looks like he wants to clear the board still as much as possible. Still.
Yeah, trades with this Twilight. Yeah, now RDU's like, well, do I just pass? I mean, he's at 30 health.
Yeah, he's also got double Holy Nova. Double Holy Nova, I think, kills every single card in this deck, by the way.
Yeah, there's no 5 health minions. There's no death rattles that are like hard to get past. So, yeah. And that should be like pretty much playing the 3 minions on the right. You just want to keep loading up some more board tension.
Oh man, he's gonna get destroyed by double Holy Nova. He's playing out his whole minion base.
Yeah. He's holding back the Totem Golem, so ultimately it won't be the end-all be-all, but like Savjz life tapped for like 5 turns in a row. You know, I wonder if he was inspired by the game that he saw Zalay do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, he's almost going to be fatigued out. He only can life tap deck out soon.
Yeah, he's only got 4 cards left.
It's time to Harrison, and then, or to play Doomhammer, get Harrison, and then Doomhammer again anyways.
Savjz knows. Savjz knows it's coming.
Yeah, he's well aware, but it's one of those things where he knows that if Priest draws that many cards, he has to try to end the game very soon. That's why I think he was hoping for another Rockbiter.
Wow! Look at that.
Well, if he didn't draw that, he was certainly bound to. He's going to go through a huge portion of his deck. Another important card, the Power Word Shield. Savjz already used the Earth Shock, and he knew, he's like, oh god, he had that Harrison Jones. But Savjz, he's been holding that since the very beginning of the game. That's been there for, a solid, almost like 10 minutes now.
Whoa, Blood Mage. Lava Burst, the 3/8. And then Lava Shock, the 5/4. Then play the Charger on the 5/4, then Doomhammer face.
Does that give you enough crystals to do everything? I don't think you can actually Doomhammer right this turn.
Okay.
You only can play the Blood Mage, which conveniently gets you close to fatigue. You have to kill the Harrison Jones. And are
nope, not lethal.
Close to lethal.
It's 3. He's at 3 HP here.
Let me change your mind.
He's just gonna play keep away for now. There's really no rush.
Yeah.
Dragon Priest surviving. And then
I don't see how
he life taps.
this happens.
That's gonna be it. So
absolutely no chance.
Just playing keep away.
It's still this warrior deck that my faith hasn't been like fully restored in yet. I mean, it's had some decent results today, but he's still absent pretty hard here.
Yeah, we also still have yet to see Savjz's Dragon Priest in action, which is a very different take on what G2 wants to do. He's got the Arcanized Soul Priest, he's got the Circle of Healings and the Entombs. Almost borrowing a huge chunk from the Control Priest. There's that weird tech that we saw that differentiates some of the list here. The Arathi Weaponsmith. One of the cards that's really given a little bit of mid-range life to the Dragon Warrior.
It definitely seems like the G2 deck lists are very well refined. I think you can tell that they worked as a team to come up with more refined lists than most players in the tournament, I would say.
Yes. I definitely agree that that's a really strong way to play, and they all happen to be sprinkled across the bracket too. One of the biggest tragedies is you do all this prep for that, and then you face your teammate in the first round or something.
All right, well, it's looking very good for the Shaman in this case.
Yeah, now we finally have an opportunity to leverage board, which just never seemed to happen. And Feral Spirits,
this is insane.
Especially if the juggles land onto Bran.
You want one juggle to land. You don't want two.
Well, you can just trade the Leper Gnome.
Would you though?
I guess
oh, 0! Never lucky.
Can you ignore it? I don't know. Probably
God.
not. Alright. We're going for it.
He's gonna get 2 weapons from the Arathi weapons.
Dual wield. 4/6 Drew the Claw for 4 mana. 5
Still very behind on the board though.
Wonder.
Putting it on the taunt minion because he's almost certain to trade that.
Like that juggle actually kind of sucks.
Yeah. But it was almost any way you combine it. The best juggle was probably face.
Yeah, definitely.
He still has opportunity to use Rockbiter as well.
Oh wow.
Preserving his
as
taunt.
much
He's
damage.
valuing the Trog a lot. So much damage. Pretty looking at 7 damage on board after you cool Taskmaster, and Farseer stops 3 of that damage. Monkey stops 4, so Monkey's just a little bit better. Plus, it challenges the Trog, so it forces the other 2 attack minions to go through. However, Doomhammer is waiting on the other side.
He has 2 damage off lethal. He has the Doomhammer and set up for lethal next turn.
Alright, Doomhammer it is, and there's still no rush. Warrior can't really turn it away, even if he got Harrison Jones. I needed a 1 mana Tree of Life in order to...
It almost doesn't. It almost doesn't. I think the double Trog into some Overload shenanigans is probably slightly better, but it's not much better. Alright, well, the Druid Mirror has commenced here. I think Savjz is playing. I think most of the players in the tournament are playing very similar Druid decks, while G2 has definitely refined some of the secondary decks a lot more than some of the other players. I think the Druid lists are still very standardized.
All on paper, but the impact has been minimal. Like, actually, Ragnar's costed life touch a game, and
yeah, that's true.
Also, someone else was hitting the 2/2. It was RDU. RDU hit Firebat's 2/2 instead. So they've been better off playing like Sylvanas or something else like that.
All right. Pretty standard opener here.
Yeah, Darnassus Aspirant forcing a reaction from your opponent, and it's okay because you want your opponent to be hero powering the Aspirant, make them float mana inefficiency. That Wrath was pretty nice draw given the circumstances.
Yeah, it allows you to push for a bigger board. Next turn you have the 2/1/1s along with the Keeper, and you really have to save that Innervate for the Ancient of Lore.
It's just a difference maker between getting that successful wild growth or not. If you say he doesn't have that ramp, then you'll see RDU coin Druid the Claw and protect that, and then he has Azure Drake, and then all of a sudden you find yourself 3 mana crystals behind because of it.
Ooh, that Innervate, that is a big deal.
Yeah,
innervating out an Emperor just makes everything more awesome.
My God, and it hits forcing
combo. Yeah.
It's like, sure, hitting minions is great, but now, and it doesn't look like it's going to get checked, because the best play is the Innervate 7-drop. I mean, unless Savjz feels so compelled to use Force of Nature to clear it.
I think he will play the Ancient of War. Yeah, it looks like he is. The Ancient of War just allows him to maintain aggression, while the Ancient of Lore is mostly investing in the future, but his future is doomed because his opponent is going to have like a 10 mana discount.
Mm-hmm. Keep pressure up. So as much as this might look alluring because you're like, oh yeah, I want more, it's actually not that great for RDU here.
Well, at the same time, he does have a 5 mana, 14 damage minimum combo. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you're right. If he picks up Force of Nature number 2 on 10 mana, he can Force of Nature, coin Savage Roar.
God.
That's right.
Druid.
It's a possibility, and it might even become a reality. That, I believe, is... let's see, it's 24 damage. It's definitely one of those situations where you just need to climb back onto the board as quickly as possible. And so the Ancient of War is that ticket there. But in the meantime, Savjz is starting to hit that, and he's also one Savage Roar away from being able to threaten his own combo.
Mm-hmm. I like the Ancient of Lore here. The Emperor doesn't really discount cards that are very important right now. Makes the attack with a 1/1 to kind of threaten a little bit better situation with the swipe, I guess. Mm-hmm. Or MC Tech. Alright, well, what can we do here? We can do Wrath and combo. That's pretty nice.
Wrath combo. Jeez.
On 7 mana.
That actually might be the play to stabilize the board. You have a 5/9.
You can clear the board with combo.
Yeah, I think that's actually the play. Which is pretty humorous. You don't really see it cleared like that. Savjz is not going to be happy to see his board clear, but he does have other stuff to play. I guess also this big concern is whether or not he can check this Ancient of War, which looks like he can. He's got the Silence to do 4 damage to it, and then he's got the Savage Combatant as well. Mm-hmm. Would you play Emperor then? If you're no, you can't really play around that. There's no way.
No, the Ancient of War is too big of a threat. If only some of these players had Black Knight. Whoa, the minions vanished.
Wow.
Sorcery.
That's a great magic trick.
Alright.
Like we're just switching POVs, a little quick spectator bug there.
Mm-hmm.
The second swipe, not really that relevant. The first swipe still being the most impactful thing here. Uh, it's a little bug, guys. Don't worry. Savjz did not switch, or RDU did not switch to Dragon Priest all of a sudden. Just using a little makeshift cover. Savjz, in the meantime, he still has some gas, right? Even Wild Growth, if he can get that card cycle, he can even still have room to hit something really nice with the Emperor Thorson. Because RDU's at 15 health, so if he can just get past this Ancient of War, you'll be in a good spot.
No,
oh wait, sorry, I'm still looking at the old board state. He's already passed it, right? He already
kind of. He passed it, but he didn't kill it. Here we go. This is more appropriate view of the situation.
Yeah, and I think you just kill the Ancient of War because even if you hit the face, there's just a lot of cards that can really punish you, and you don't want to leave that war up.
And I mean, you just got comboed. Are you really getting comboed by the other exact combo pieces already?
Yeah, it's unlikely. But again, we got told that this is a spectator bug. We rejoined, so we're just gonna have to fly on Savjz's cam as the main POV. Apologies, guys, for flipping on you, but the bottom player is Savjz, the top player is RDU, and we're on RDU's turn here. Keep in mind that RDU had the second swipe. He's going to heal power pass? Oh my goodness.
Well, I think swipe was the only card in his hand last turn. So it seems like he didn't really draw anything more than that.
That's a big swing opportunity for Savjz.
I think I'd like to see the Wild Growth first. The Wild Growth might produce like another Ancient of War, which I think is probably worth playing now. Somewhere in space.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I mean, I wouldn't blame him for doing the draw plays as well, like Wild Growth, Azure Drake, Mind Control Tech. Just get deeper into your deck. You want to find Savjz to end the game. Like, you don't want the game to drag out too much, and you're not going to end the game by playing Thorson and Mind Control Tech. It's only 14, 15 damage next turn. So it's all reasonable. It depends on what you really feel like is your best chance to win, and minion pressure is generally really good.
Okay.
Trying to figure out the best line here. If he clears, then he's spending his entire turn doing that, not developing the Ancient of Lore.
Oh, here we go. Ooh. All right. So I guess this is swipe face and trees clean up the board.
So he's going to be... That's the second Force of Nature.
Yeah, no more combo.
Huge information for Savjz. Picks up the Azure Drake, and Wrath not really doing much, so I guess you can cycle in any way you want. Wild Growth as well. You want to hit that 5-mana minion. That's oh so nice. Druid the Claw would be mint.
What's he gonna get here? Not quite.
That's kind of a blank for now. One of the best cards you can get in the start of a turn, but not really at this moment. Savjz just going to pass it over. RDU needs to swing it one more time here.
He doesn't have any swipe or anything like that left either.
Did you Wild Growth first to see what you draw? Or would you Ancient of Lore?
I don't know if there's any one card that really helps you here. Ooh,
yeah.
Wow.
Healing
himself. I feel that might just doom you.
Well,
like it's not, you don't have any more combos in your deck, so while you do stay alive a little bit, how are you going to win this game?
Ragnaros finish maybe. The Wrath though is so big. Wrath for 5? Jeez.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Oh my goodness, that's so much. And now I think RDU completely locked himself out of this game, unless there's one last surprise that we're not expecting here. Not it.
Well, that is a pretty poor surprise.
Yeah, one more chance.
Yeah, Ragnaros killing a 4-mana minion, I believe, prevents him from dying. Or a 4-attack minion. Well, that'll do, actually. That would make it so he doesn't lose the win. And I think the main way that he does is actually Savjz Roar now. Savjz Roar now will make it so if this opponent doesn't hero power and he top decks Ragnaros, hear me out, and then hero powers the Druid, and it doesn't die, and Ragnaros hits face,
Stop, Rip.
that would be lethal. But this is the type of things that you are thinking about. Like when
Yeah, you are. You're right. You're right.
when you're in this situation, you just have to see how you could possibly win, and usually it's on the back of some really outrageous scenarios.
Yeah, it's a good point. A lot of those times you have to think, what are my outs? What are those situations where I actually have a 1% chance to win? When you have 30,000...
Well, from what it looks, I don't believe there's any way RDU is going to do anything this game. But I think playing for the Ragnaros finish is his best chance, and that does involve Savjz Roar, I believe.
Most likely, yeah. It looks like he's just gonna do it to the face. Just so he can have Ragnaros. Oh.
Yeah, I think you could kill the 4-2, increase your chance of staying alive, and then Savjz Roar for 3, put him at 8.
Yeah.
Ragnaros is better out. But it doesn't matter. There's no way that was happening. And it looks like Savjz has taken the lead once again.
Control half Dragon Priest.
Mm-hmm.
And when we say control, I mean, Dragon's Priest generally still wants to play a control-ish archetype, but Control Priest is even more late-game centric and very spell-centric, while Dragons are very minion-based. They like to play a lot of early curve and hit a lot of powerful minions that buff each other. Savjz's deck is unfortunately sometimes awkward with how it uses its circle of healings with the flash heals and Alkanized Soul Priest in relation to Dragons. Because, like, sometimes you just really want to heal your minion back up and you have Soul Priest on the board.
Alright, well,
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
combo.
That is the dream! Back in the day, Priest couldn't really beat Druid that consistently, but if you could do this, it was one of the best at doing
This is
nothing.
junk. It's...
Wow. Oh no, he's closing his eyes. He doesn't even want to look at the screen anymore.
Oh, man.
And he hits a dragon with the buff. This is starting to get really snowbally. Yeah. I guess he can at least silence the 2/6.
Yeah. It is a play.
I must safeguard them.
It's definitely one of the better plays.
That's like the only play, really. I mean, he had to play the keeper no matter what, right? So if he had to play the keeper, it was just more convenient this way for him.
Yeah, but Priest already survived the worst part of the game, which is Druid ramping and hitting reasonable minions, and Priest not having a board, and now Priest has a board. It's going to be even hitting better quality minions with bigger impacts, and if the board if like something significant ever came out, he'd still be able to effectively address it. Shadow Word Pain. Oh my goodness. Ragnaros, you know. Ragnaros would be pretty effective against Priest of all decks.
Alright. Well, the Druid has a lot of cards now, and it's ramped pretty well. The big minion advantage is going to...
Legitimate turn 4 play. At best, he just healed his 4/7 back up, which is okay, but he wanted to develop another minion. And
Well, that turn 6 play was pretty horrible from the Druid as well.
Flash heal, because you still have another dragon for the Blackwing Corruptor, and you get to keep your minions on board. Plus, Azure Drake gets out the spell power, so that Holy Nova is more relevant too.
Here we'll have to see an Ancient of War, I believe. It's very good on this board, and you've seen a death play out. There's no question that RDU will play this, and Entomb will make him pretty unhappy again.
Yeah, it's a nice minion. It looks even nicer in my deck, is kind of what you say it when you tomb your opponent. And RDU's just going to be pretty crushed, because he has a lot of resources and cards, but he's dying. And in fact, it's represented lethal next turn.
To be a Ysera down, and there's absolutely no way he's dealing with that.
Yeah, tough stuff overall for RDU. I don't know what's the best. I still think swiping probably be the best play, but he chooses to wrap as well.
Just to get that big minion off the board. But I feel like now in the game, the Special Edition minion is actually more threatening towards pushing for lethal.
It's weird, man, seeing Priest be the beatdown, but that's what happens when you get out the early circle of healing with the
Indicative of that hero power play there. And I think because of that, you probably want to taunt up rather than pushing for any creative plays.
I get 5 damage in, and if your opponent Force of Nature Savage Roar clears and you play Ysera, the only downside is you lose all your dragons by doing this. So Blackwing Corruptor, not getting the initial value, but you have to clear this. Actually be one of the most dominant because it has those big minions to let it scale. You're gonna try, you're gonna clear, but you're still very far from a win. And when Lady Ysera hits the board, it's just gonna be the beginning of the end here. I foresee Savjz walking away with 3-1, but we'll see. I mean, we can also have nothing happen.
Ancient of War.
Oh, he should have uprooted it. Yes.
There's Awakens too.
That's it. I think you wouldn't blame RDU for conceding here. He can't actually deal with Ysera. He can silence it, but then it's just a big minion attacking him every turn.
Pay attention, class.
He's gonna try one more time. Wild Growth Cycles.
This is actually a good play. He's trying to flood the board with small minions in order to perhaps push for a big Savage Roar board clear. He's going to be on just a few points of HP here, though.
Now, I want to personally see a uprooted Ancient of War into a
Then
Ysera.
Awakens.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh.
No! This!
Too nice. That probably gets a 0 out of 10 from me.
0 out of 10 PM.
0 out of 10.
Let's move on.